in de Verenigde Staten. In series als The Professionals, Bergerac, Hotel, Sledgehammer en Remington Steel. Haar prominentste rol was die van Pamela Lynch in Falcon Crest. 2 seizoenen lang. Er is nog een personage dat Pamela heette in The Final Battle, maar u kent haar waarschijnlijk het best als Queen Taramis in Conan the Destroyer en vooral als Ursa in Superman the Movie en Superman 2. Hier is Sarah Douglas. Uw applaus.
That I just sit here and wait for you to ask me something, which, if you're like my normal audience, is going to be silence for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yes? Anybody got any questions? Or do I just have to talk at you? Do you speak English? Okay. Well, hooray! Firstly, let me just say it's my first visit to Belgium, and I have had such a great time. Thank you all. My hearing voices? If not you, okay. I've enjoyed the beer. I've had a waffle. I've eaten some chocolate, and I'm ready to go home now. But thank you all. You really made me feel very welcome, and I'll happily answer any questions. But please do not ask me what it was like to fly, because people keep saying, "What was it like to fly in Superman?" And it's really, it's been 30 years since Superman. All I can say was very uncomfortable. But please, somebody ask me something. The gentleman that speaks English over there, you must have some questions. You've got a Star Wars t-shirt on, so come on. A man like you, my darling. That's what makes me go weak at the knees. Yeah. You know, people say about the character in Superman, you know, Ursa, they said you were so mean and evil, and how did you manage it? And of course, because I'm really sweet and lovely, I said, well, in England we call it acting. It's true. But I have to say that every morning, I had very long hair at the time, and I wore short cropped wig, so all my long hair has to be put up in a wig. Supervillains don't have freckles, and I have freckles. So I had to be covered in a white makeup. My eyebrows were stuck up with glue. My lips were painted black. My fingernails, I had false nails that kept falling off as I was flying because of the heat of the lamps high in the studio. So I had my fingernails baked on. So I had fingernails that were baked on for 6 months. Then I had that little harness. It was not a comfortable thing to wear. And by this time, it's maybe 7 o'clock in the morning. So by the time I got to the set, I was a real bitch. I was foul, and I was just so uncomfortable. So the character came really very easily to me. I also had the distinction of having my own nose wiper, because supervillains don't carry tissues. And if you're upside down all day long flying like that, you can often have quite a problem with your nose if you've got a cold or something. So I was given a man called Bert who had a 40-foot pole and a tissue on the end. And they would call him when I needed him, and he would come and stand underneath me to wipe my nose. Now, if that is not stardom, I don't know what is. Has anybody else got a question for me? That young man down there, what's your question? Yes, you're thinking. I'm looking at you. What's your question? Quickly. Yes, you. He doesn't have a question at all, other than to say that he thinks I'm fabulous. You're a hard audience, because I didn't know I thought I was going to have somebody here asking questions or leading this kind of conversation. I also, listen, let me just say, yes. What kind of a creature are you? Yeah, that's it. I didn't realize that V was so popular here. I was really excited to see that I brought a few V photographs which went within 5 minutes, because you're all V fans and Stargate fans as well. So it's been a really interesting. I mean, there's no way of knowing when you're invited to come to a country you don't know, but it does seem you're a pretty loyal V-lot. Would you help me out here? Would you like to ask me a question? I've just been asked what Christopher Reeves was like to work with. Yeah, he did seem like a charming fellow, because that's exactly it. Christopher Reeve, I think it's fair to say, was very much like Clark Kent. He was very polite, very charming. Just a really regular kind of a guy. I certainly wouldn't have said he was Superman. You didn't get the idea that he was a Superman. He was just a nice, regular guy, a real pleasure to work with. Anybody else? You are a very tough audience. Yes, I have finally somebody asking me a question. Thank you. Yes. This gentleman was saying that in V, my character was called Pamela. And also, what else was I, Pamela, in Falcon Crest? Yes. Yes, Pamela, I shot the miniseries at the same time as I was working on the TV series Falcon Crest, which I think you all had here, but you're all way too young to remember that, but it was in the 80s. And I was just lucky enough to be called Pamela in both, because quite honestly, being the 80s, I had a lot of trouble remembering anything that was going on. It was a good time. Do you remember the 80s? Yes, I thought perhaps you do. Yes, so the miniseries, I was asked, after I completed that, if I wanted to do V, the series, and I had a choice between V, the series, or Falcon Crest. And at the time, Falcon Crest seemed like the sensible way to go. So I chose Falcon Crest. But now, in retrospect, because I've done so many sci-fi and fantasy genre movies, I do wish that I had perhaps done V. But then I'd have to compete with Jane Badler, and I can't do that. Jane is unreasonable. Anybody else? Yes?
What's the secret to superpower?
What is the secret of superpower? Taking your vitamins in the morning, maybe. You know what? It's funny you should say this. I don't know if you know Superman 2. We have another cut of Superman 2 called the director's cut, Dick Donner. Because when I filmed Superman, I filmed it with two different directors. And Superman 2 was originally shot by a man called Richard Donner, who did Superman 1. And then when they released Superman 2, it was Richard Lester was the director. So none of us saw Superman 2. I didn't even know there was anything to see until about 5 years ago. So I've only just seen Superman 2, the director's cut, and I haven't realized Brando is not in the other version. I mean, it's quite different. Have you seen both copies, both versions? It was really, it's very interesting. It was interesting to think that Richard Donner was able to have enough footage, because he left the film under rather difficult circumstances, to say the least. He had enough footage to make a complete film. So I haven't answered the question, but then it doesn't really matter. I have to say it's very disconcerting, because everybody's got an ice cream and I want one. And I'm looking over there all the while, and I'm just thinking, who can I hit on? And I'm going to hit on you. I need an ice cream, but not right now. Okay, you have to ask, please, yes. What projects am I doing right now? Well, we have in America, in Los Angeles, where I'm based, I've been doing the voice of a nasty little blue blob in a TV series a cartoon series called The Green Lantern. I don't know whether The Green Lantern came out last year, the movie. The DC Comics have just launched the series of Green Lantern. So I'm doing the voice, yet another evil, wicked queen. Fine. But I am an English voice. Everybody else has got a funny accent or a funny voice, but they all think my accent is very funny in America. So I do a lot of voiceover, a lot of animated work, and quite honestly, as I get older, I'm perfectly happy to do that. I had a film open last week in England, which is called Strippers versus Werewolves. Yeah, exactly. I was neither the stripper nor the werewolf, but I was a retired stripper in the movie. But that's very much tongue-in-cheek, but a lot of English TV stars in it, and fun to do. I am of an age now, sir, if you don't mind me saying, but I'm very grateful. I'm playing old queens now, or the grandmothers of the princess. And voice work is it's good for me, and I enjoy it. I do a lot in America. I do Superman and Batman and different animated series, and it's easy. I don't need to get dressed up. I don't need to learn my lines, which is by far the best way to go. But I haven't been able to work the past few months because I had an accident in November, which is why I'm sitting down now. So I have a very bad leg and hip, which means I'm now limping. So I think. Now that is a man. Oh, now you're all going to watch me make a fool of myself, but no. And I know, because I know about the internet, there's going to be lots of pictures of me with my tongue out, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to save this. Yeah. Okay, I'm caught out now. And there's a gentleman there with a sign that says penis. What is this about this country? You're a scare. Yeah, okay, yes. With ice cream. Very nice. Anyway, are there any more questions? If there's no more questions, I'm going to eat my ice cream. Can I eat my ice cream? Thank you very much for taking the time to come, and I hope you've understood something that I've said. And I'm in love with the guy in the back row there, so he and I are going to have a little conversation about how much I owe you for my ice cream. Thank you so much.
You should eat it before it melts. Give her een applaus, dames en heren. Sarah Douglas.